What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and I want to welcome you back to the All Hail the King segment from podcasts past. I do want to apologize for the missed episode last week, but it was a very busy weekend, so I unfortunately couldn't post one. This week we'll have both episodes, however next week I'm going to be on vacation, so it will be difficult. I'll do what I can, but I can't promise anything. As for this episode, it's going to be unique for a few reasons, and we'll get into that in just one moment, but first, I want to invite everyone to check out thehelicarrier.com and blogtalkradio.com/FromTheHelicarrier. That's where you're going to find all current podcasts. But as for our look into the past, this episode, like I was saying, is going to be unique. First, I'm going to be talking about a tournament finish in which I didn't get adamantium, and this is the only one in recent history. By the way, that wasn't originally what I thought was unique about this, so that's more of a joke, but it is true. At first, I thought this was the one unaired segment, but now I'm thinking that's going to be the next one. So yes, there was one unaired All Hail the King segment, never heard before, and I believe that's going to be the next episode. However, the other unique thing about this segment is that there was no actual team talked about. Instead, it's basically a breakdown of Chapter 4 in Season 2. Because of that, I really don't see a point in putting up video of an old chapter review, so I'm just showing a few teams that I've used this season on offense, and they're both very solid attacks. So first we're using Null and Avalanche with two pieces of the Maddening Method set. First we have the Amplified Rifle, and then we have the Unrefined Echo Tech Blaster. Unfortunately, I never got the better version. However, they are sonic attacks, so they help out with collapsing infrastructure, as does Null, and then ground attacks help out Meteor Swarm, so it's kind of a cyclical team. Then for the second team up in the video, once the original recording starts rolling, I'm going to be using Enchantress and Null. That's one that I know I've used quite a bit recently, but it is a great team. To see more of them, check out my Enchantress PvP video, and also the All Hail the King episode number 48. Both of those are on my main channel. But anyways, that's going to be it for the intro to this one. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about the PvP season with Hogan, and also items in ISO that you can get in Chapter 4. Oh, and one last crazy thing about this is, Chapter 4 came out almost a year ago, so just think how long it took to get Chapter 8. It's kind of mind-blowing, but just think, Chapter 12 may come out by next March. Anyways, here's the original audio. What's going on, everybody? It's Kingfisher745, and this is the All Hail the King segment only on the From the Helicarrier podcast. The last PvP season just finished, and I'm going to go ahead and do a quick recap. This time I finished in Vibranium, and that's really not too bad considering I was gone from 9 AM till about 5 PM. I didn't access the game or get on a computer all day until after 5, so I played a little bit at that point, and then I had to go eat dinner. I got back on around 7 PM, oh and by the way it ends at 9 PM Eastern here. But yeah, basically I figured maybe I could sneak in there and steal Hogan anyway. I think I made it to around 1520 or 1530, and then I started losing way too much on defense. With about 30 minutes left, I just stopped playing altogether. I think I may have been around 1470 rating, and I figured I had Vibranium. So yeah, I only played about 2 to 2.5 hours on the final day. That's by far the least amount of effort I've ever put in. But you know what? I wasn't stressed at all, and that's the only time I could ever say that in PvP. Outside of maybe Season 1. And now there's plenty of upcoming PvP changes, where I think it's going to be great for the game. But anyways, I'm sure that Agents Ibit and McFall covered that already, or if not, they will. What I want to talk about and focus on for this, as well as the video, are some highlights as well as my overall opinion on Chapter 4. At this point, I think it's been out long enough and I've definitely seen all the augmented ISO, all of the empowered ISO, as well as the weapons and gadgets that are available. I also feel like I've had plenty of experience with the heroic battles. As far as the heroics, they may be the only thing lowering the overall grade for this chapter. In my personal opinion, the Sif battle was the worst, but if you can get past them, they have some really useful empowered ISO 8. Starting with the very first battle, the Eternal empowered ISO 8 makes Emma into a tank, She was already one of the most durable characters in the game. Then her counterpart in the battle, Magneto, gains the Fluxing Empowered ISO 8. It's going to cause Magnetize to become polarized, but all that means really is it cannot be removed or prevented. Now these first two are two of the really good ones, I will admit that, but two others that I will note at the top of my list are the Windy Empowered ISO 8 for Storm. This one's going to grant Protective Shroud to all allies at the start of combat. And then last but not least, the Predictive Empowered ISO 8. It's for Mockingbird, and it grants Prediction. This causes mock combat to trigger before an enemy attack. Next I'm going to move on to the Augmented ISO. All of these are certainly worth getting, especially since you don't have any competition really. By that I mean they're made for specific skills. So I guess you could equip a generic one, but 9 times out of 10 you'll probably want the character specific A ISO instead. I won't go through all of these, but I will say some of the exceptional standout ones to me are those like the Victorious and the Reflexive. The Victorious Augmented ISO 8 is for Union Jack, and it causes his V for Victory to become a quick action. This is incredible because this ability applies flanked, meaning that when you attack with it, your next attack against that target will cause a follow-up. So what I like to do is use V for Victory, and then either his level 2 or his level 6. That depends on whether you want to preemptively counter melee or defensive actions. Then due to flanked, he's going to follow it up with his level 1, meaning you'll preemptively counter ranged attacks as well. Hopefully you saw some of that in my Fandral and Union Jack team-up video. Also, since we're talking about preemptive counters, Chapter 4 Mission 1's boss weapon preemptively counters ranged attacks against any ally. Couple this with the Mahayuga, and then maybe the Hotshot plus the Hard Knocks. Throw in Union Jack and either Fandral or Magneto or Quicksilver, or even Cable with his Instant Empowered ISO 8, and you'll probably kill the enemy before they even get their attack off. I really wish I could show you this combination, but I don't have all those items yet. What I will do in the corresponding video episode of All Hail the King is show you all the weapons, gadgets, and ISO that I do have, and I'll break down the chapters and also give you some further opinions, and at the end of the video I'll give you my overall grade on Chapter 4. So make sure to check out my YouTube channel, and that video will be posted sometime tomorrow evening. Lastly, I just want to congratulate everyone on their placement in PvP. I hope that you got all the rewards that you were aiming for. Oh, and one more last thing. To anyone who is playing on Playdom, I just want to let you know that if you do come over to play on Facebook, you have an ally in me. Please feel free to send me a friend request, and we can be allies in the game. If you're no longer playing, I do understand and I wish you the best. And with all that being said, I'm going to send it back to the host, and I'll leave it up to you guys to cheer us back up.